All right, so we're recording this for the music department for the faculty sites. Any faculty member can have a site, or technically multiple sites inside of SharePoint that are theirs and theirs alone. We're currently putting them under /studios, but we could mix that up. So if we wanted to do music.udl.edu slash ensemble slash Bob Dole. We can do that as well. We can set up the URL structure really as much as we need to. And you can see we've already got three sites set up already. And so we're looking at Palmer's site today. And so everything that's here and underneath, so Tom Palmer, Jazz Ensemble 1, 2, Chamber Ensemble, and Jazz Minor, those are all just individual pages. You can have as many or as few of those as you want. You could have one, you could have a full menu. And they all exist within one box. Like you have your own little yard and it's fenced off and it's just yours. And you can make your own decisions about how you want to handle content. So we did this in psychology. So we had a bunch of different things that were done. So we had one person that said, I'm doing this myself. Give me access. I'll do all the editing. I'll do all the publishing. Don't let anybody else into my things. I had another faculty member that said, I've got 2 grad students. I don't do tech. I'm not interested, but I needed to be up there. So I'm deputizing my 2 students, give them access. Everything goes live, and just, you know what, have it send me an alert. Anytime they make a change, just have it send me an email to let me know that they did something, and then I'm good to go. But other than that, I don't log in, I don't do anything. I had another faculty member that said, I'm going to have students do it, and hypothetically, they didn't go this crazy. They said, the students are going to do it, and it's going to come to me for approval. But you can even do chained approvals where it's okay, well, one grad student does it and it goes to a second grad student for copy editing. And then it comes to me for final approval. You can do any kind of crazy thing that you could possibly conceive of. Generally, nobody does that. They either have basically I do it or somebody else does it. And I either get notified or I approve it before it goes live. So you have your own folder for documents. So if you have PDFs that you want to put up, you've got your own folder for that. You've got your own folder for images that you can arrange. If you have a need, we can set up databases. So for psych, let me see if I can find the person the right way. That one's Browse Research Projects. Julie Hubbard. So Psych does it with /labs. Julie had us build a database for her. Which one is it? Lab members, there we go. So this is a database. And what she does is she has 4 folders, current grads, former grads, current undergrads, and former undergrads. And she drags a picture in and then writes the data for the output. And then when her kids graduate, she just basically grabs them and moves them to the old folder, or to the ex-students folder, and then drags new students in. So this keeps her output nice and regular, and it makes this page really, really easy to maintain. And she can have as many pictures as she wants. Normally you'd have 8 sections on a page, she can have 8 pictures, but she has more kids than that. So this made it easy to maintain, and so we can build things if a particular person does have a specific need, we can just meet that need with a database. And those can be as simple or as complicated as you want. They could be images, it could look like an Excel spreadsheet, where it's just I put this stuff in an Excel spreadsheet and it throws down on the page. I'm not going to demo any of that stuff for how it works because it's fairly rare, and I would train that person individually on their specific database. So we're just going to talk about the individual pages. So we're not using that now, but I wanted to let you know that it was there. To edit a page, presuming you have the right login, you'll come to publish.music.udel.edu/studios/your page. And you'll log in, and you'll get your name will be up here in the top right-hand corner. And when you go to a page, you'll see an edit button. If you don't see an edit button, that means you're not permissioned correctly. And so you'll hit edit, and you get on to the page per se. And everything that's right here, you can change. So you can change the name at the top here. You can change the information. Yep, yeah, so this should work a lot like Microsoft Word. It's built by the same people. It's all Microsoft. So if I wanted to bold the word bring, I would highlight it, and I would hit bold. And so that stuff's pretty straightforward. Links, I think, is the most complicated thing you would have to do. So if I wanted to link materials, I would do insert, link from address, and I'd put the URL that I want to link to in here.
Now, you generally post a lot of PDFs.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because
yeah, so if I wanted to do that, so PDFs are slightly different. I would double click on materials, and then I would say insert link from SharePoint, and it says to a PDF. And that brings us to a picker, and I would go to T. Palmer. So here's your little folder. I would go to documents, and then here are all your documents. So you would just click on the one document, and you would hit insert, and it would link this to the PDF. So that being said, if you did find yourself in a place where you had like a ton of files that you wanted to post up, I can give you a directory where if you drag something into a folder, it just shows up on a page. Okay. So that's how we're doing drag and drop. So you go to anytime you want to upload images or documents, start editing a page, and then come up to the top. This thing right here will open up your specific image library, and this little documents folder here will open up your specific folder. So there's a bunch of different folders on the server, and the system will like let you go to them because you're allowed to read from them, but then you'll go to drag things up and it'll be like, oh, access denied. But as long as you go through those two links there at the very top of a page that you're in process of editing, you'll be able to get there. And the idea of that was like, well, if you're going to upload something, you're going to put it somewhere. So you've got to start editing the page anyway. So we did that. If we had a database page, so if I went to publish.cas, that thing where that automatic document uploader. So if I go into IT resources and I went to documentation, so this isn't live yet. This is a bunch of documents, and nobody like uploads a document and then puts it on this page. They just go up here and say upload documents. They drag it in here, and as soon as they drag it in here, it'll show up on this page. So if you wanted to like simplify your life, if you're like, I'm going to be uploading dozens of PDFs, we can do that. Yeah, if you're doing individual, this is fairly rare, but again, I just kind of wanted to mention that it was to mention that it was possible, and it's like super easy to set up for us. But if you're doing one-offs, yeah, you'd highlight the thing, insert, link to PDF, find your folder. So find your T. Palmer, T. Palmer, and then documents, and then you're good to go. So yeah, that's for editing a page. You'll notice that as soon as I start editing a page, it says that the page is checked out to me. Only you can see recent changes. So this system is built so that multiple people can use the system at the same time and they don't step on each other's toes. If it's just you, some of this is going to be superfluous. I'll mention it for the purposes of the video, though. If you go to edit a page, you have it checked out to you. When you're done working on it, you could hit save, and save says, I'm not really done yet, so I'm not checking it back in. It's still checked out to me. So I'm just going to save my changes. And then it'll tell you in the yellow bar, like, oh, by the way, only you can see your recent changes, and then it gives you the option to check it in. If I'm ready for like my teammates to see it, to like check it before it goes live, I can check it in. It gives you the option to put a comment on the check-in, but I don't find that there's generally a point. Once you've checked it in, then your teammates can see it, but it's not visible to the world, and it'll say that. recent draft not published, visitors can't see recent changes, and then you get the option to publish it. That being said, if you're the only person editing a site, you'll probably never do any of that other stuff. You'll probably edit a page. Yep, exactly. And there's a way to skip right to that if you go to the Publish tab.
Okay.
You can skip Save, you can skip Check-in, and you can jump right to Publish. The reason that you might want to check something in is that if you start making changes and you're like, oh shoot, like I left that PDF on my home computer. I'm not quite done yet. You might just leave it checked out and come back later. The other thing that the system does is, and why I mentioned that like putting a comment when you put a new version live is kind of superfluous, is I can go there at any point in time and say what changed between, every time you publish it makes a new version, and I could say like, well, what was this page last Tuesday? What changed between version 2 and version 3? I don't think it'll be particularly useful to you in general, but if you're ever like, God, what did this page look like 2 years ago? You can kind of go back in time and look at it. So that's there. So that's the long and short of editing pages. You go to this page and I want to edit it, I would just hit edit and start making changes. If I wanted to make a new page, the only tricky part of making a new page is whether you are, when you go to page, new, whether you're making a new page or a new subpage. So a new page would be in the same line. So it would be Paul Head, Tom Palmer, new page, Harvey Price. So I wouldn't want to do that. I would want to make a new subpage. But if I run Jazz Ensemble, I get the same options, new page, new subpage. So if I made a new page, it would be Jazz Ensemble 1, Jazz Ensemble B, Jazz Ensemble 2. Like new page would go there. If it's new subpage, it would go underneath Jazz Ensemble. And if you do like go, oh crap, I did that wrong, but I already put a whole bunch of work in, now the page is in the wrong place, just give us an email and say, this page should have been here. Yeah, and I can pick it up and move it. Yeah, that stuff is nice and easy.
Tell us where it is, what you want.
Yeah, if a page changes and you're like, oh God, I really should have named that something else, there are ways you can do it yourself, but it's easiest and best just to email me and say, I really should have named this page this. Because you can start doing overrides, but I can rename it at like a very core level, and then it'll carry through. So if Jazz Ensemble becomes something else, I can, like I said, I can rename that. All the stuff that I showed you is in this little tutorials link.
Okay.
So if you go to tutorials, because what will generally happen is you'll start using it. If you use it today, everything will be fresh, but then like 3 months will go by, and you'll be like, I want to add it.
Greg, what was my password?
Yeah.
Greg, how do I get in there?
Yeah, so it'll be like, and it'll be simple stuff. It'll be like, like how do I put in a PDF on a page?
Yeah.
And so you can hit that light bulb, and it'll take you here, and you can come to figure out whatever you want. So adding a link to a document. You come here, and there's a short 2-minute video where you can watch me doing exactly what you need to do. If you find that what you want to do is not represented here, that should not be the case, but email me. Or if it's unclear and you'd be like, this video doesn't make any sense, I can reshoot them. I don't do a whole lot of prep, so a 5-minute video takes me like 7 minutes. I have to start it up, I have to upload the video, but I don't do takes. So if you hear it's good. If I curse, I delete it and make a new one, hopefully. So yeah, that's
Great.
I think everything front to back. So I'm gonna.
All these are visible to anybody.
Yes.
It's just open. Like
Yeah.
They get around to studio sites.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, and you can link it from your bio, like you saw for Julie Hubbard.
Right.
That she had this link in her thing that says lab website. So you can use that to jump to your studio, and Meg will be able to add that link for you. I think you may already have. So if I go to, I'm actually going to keep going because this is worth having. So who we are, faculty and staff, and search for Palmer, and there you go. And so
Studio site.
there you go. Yep.
Okay, so it's already linked.
Yeah. So you are good to go. So yeah, everything is live. If you wanted to, if somebody said like, oh God, I don't want everybody to see my site. I want only my students to be able to see it.
Yeah.
We can actually do that. We can actually put things behind the
I'd
login.
set up a Canvas site for that.
Yeah, fair
I
enough.
have
Fair enough.
recordings, and it's like that's a separate.
Yeah, then I think that's a good way to do it. Okay. Yeah, and you could conceivably also set it up. So we do have an option that we used for the music site proper where somebody could say like, I just want somebody to log in first and make sure they're a UD person, but I don't care who they are. So there are options there.
Okay.
So, okay, I'm going to stop recording.